Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is David, and I'm Guillem, and we're going to show you something that we've made that we're calling Strava Segment Optimizer. Now, to start, what is Strava? Some people know, some people don't. Strava is a social network for athletes, for sports. It's a place where you can log in activities and you can share them with friends, and you can then see what the performance of people is, and you can compare with them. One of Strava's most popular sports is cycling, and as a matter of fact, both David and I were users of Strava for cycling. We both cycle, but we show the diversity of users because what we made works with all sorts of users. And for example, we have someone like David who has logged about like 1,000 activities. So that's 1,000 bike rides. That's a lot. And then we have someone like me who has logged one single activity. And it was to test this. So in the cycling world, people will focus on doing and trying to set the fastest time and complete a segment in the fastest time. Now, a segment is a route. It's going from A to B, and you try to compete with other people, but most importantly with yourself, trying to set the fastest time and improve your own personal record. Some people will take it very seriously, and they go out every week trying to improve their own time. And people that take it very, very seriously, they especially take a look at the top 10 of segments, and they're trying to see if they can get in the top 10 or if they can maybe get a top 1 even. The problem is that where an athlete can be very consistent with their form, there's certain conditions that are outside of their control, and that's where David is going to take over.
So in cycling, what impacts most the performance is obviously the fitness of the rider, but also the weather and the terrain conditions. So basically, athletes, when they are going to do an attempt to get the best time possible, and they are going to give their maximum effort, they don't want to waste it in non-optimal conditions. So how can a cyclist know the conditions from the get-go?
With data science.
Strava doesn't allow us to gather the data to train machine learning and AI models. So what we did was to ask several riders from all kinds of levels to directly get us their data that their cycling computer collects. With this data, that includes key metrics such as location, rate time, and effort, we processed it, and we got almost 86,000 real segments from it. Later, we merged it with the meteorological conditions that they had in their rides, during their rides. And then we trained an XGBoost regression model for the prediction. An XGBoost regression model, it's a decision tree model that consists in many if-else statements.
So now we have the data, we have trained the model, and now we have the predicted time. So now it's all data, but the thing is we need to show it to the user so it's user-friendly. And how do we do that? With a dashboard.
First of all, when you log in the website, you will need to log with your Strava user, so it gets your profile data. First of all, you will input the Strava segment you want to write, your weight, the power in watts, that it's the measure of force you can apply to the bicycle, the speed at the start of the segment, the date when you plan to ride, and the time of the ride. And with that, you can already generate a prediction.
So for this example, we're predicting a ride that's called Granite Creek Uphill, and the dashboard consists of 4 main parts. The first and probably the most important one is the prediction and conditions, and that shows basically what we care about, the predicted time. So what that does is that takes all the inputs and it tells us, hey, if you do this, you're going to get this predicted time. Obviously, if you make a bigger effort, you're going to get a lower time. If you make a smaller effort, you're gonna get a longer time. And also in this box, we have the average speed, which is calculated with the distance of the segment. We have the elevation because we need to see, of course, like how like the slope of the ride is, the average grade, the wind speed, and the direction of the wind, which in this case, it comes from the northeast, and we're actually going northeast, so it's tailwind, so it's actually helping us. And finally, the temperature, which I think we can all agree that 32 degrees Celsius is pretty high for a ride, so it's not gonna help us. And then next to it, we have the 3D segment map, and I think this is a great tool to see actually like all the turns, but most importantly, the slope of the ride. Like it will go up, it will go down, and then here we have some percentages that it's the gradient scale, and like, for example, like here, like this white part means that it's either flat or it goes down, and then depending on the other colors, it means like how steep it gets, being the black segments being the steepest ones. And then we have the other two boxes. This one is a speed and elevation profile. This also takes altitude, and it displays it here, and then it gives us this red line. And this red line, what it does, it's telling us what speed we need to be at each point of the ride to meet the target time. And then on the right, we have something that for some people is very important, which is the segment leaderboard comparison. And what it does, it takes the live leaderboard from Strava, it takes the effort that you're making, and then it predicts the position you'll end up in if you meet the time. So here we have an effort of 250 watts, and it gives us a predicted time of 12 minutes and 20 seconds. So that's going to put us in top 3, which is pretty good. Obviously, there's segments that have more people that have attempted it. Some segments have less people. And in this case, we are 3rd. But if we change some inputs and we change the target power, and let's say we make 150, maybe something a lot lower. So let's say we want to just relax and take it easy. And then we predict again. Well, we got a small error. Well, this error happens because we've been testing a lot today, and our APIs have a limit. So we have unfortunately met this limit. But before, when we tried it and we put 150, it actually kicked us out of the top 10. And then what this dashboard can do is it can predict how much of an effort we need to reach the 10th spot. So let's say you're doing an effort that's 150, and it tells you, okay, with 150, you're not getting in the top 10. But if you add 30 and your effort is 180, you're actually going to reach top 10. So this is a tool that helps people compete with themselves, compete with others, but also know all the variables before they even get on the bike. Because today you need to open the weather app, we need to open Google Maps, you need to open all sorts of websites. So we made a one-stop shop that brings it all in one place, and also use data science to make it even better and easier to do even better when you go out and cycle. Thank you so much.
Yes.